I made the name Love of Hip Hop. That's my name. When they say Love Hop, they supposed to say, man, the creator and founder, Jim Jones. I created it. It wasn't about nobody. I called Jim Ackerman like, yo, I'm ready to do reality TV. If you do a show around Chrissy, and I'll be a part of the show for the whole thing. Chrissy was supposed to do a show. It didn't go through for her. And she told Mona, yo, hold Jim down while I'm going to play the management. I had a couple more meetings at VH1. Took Mona with me to the meeting. She went in there as my manager and left as the producer.
Oh, gosh.
Of my whole show.
No. I mean, that was a long time ago. He and Eve stopped dating after the videotape. No, I don't know. It's been quite some time.
Bow, bow, bow.
The room had a moody, low-lit atmosphere, the kind you'd expect in a late-night studio session where secrets slip out between puffs of smoke and sips of something strong. The walls were lined with soundproofing foam, and a dim orange lamp in the corner cast shadows across the space. Jim Jones sat slouched in a leather chair, the kind that had molded to his shape over the years. On the table in front of him sat a half-drunk bottle of Hennessy, a couple of red plastic cups, and the faint scent of weed lingering in the air. It wasn't just the smoke that hung heavy, it was the past too. The kind of past that sticks to you like sweat after a long day hustling. Jim leaned back, his expression tight but thoughtful. Across from him sat Chrissy, his longtime partner in both love and business. She had that focused look in her eyes, the one she wore when she knew something real was about to go down. Between them sat a small recorder, blinking red, quietly catching every word that left his mouth.
I mean, listen, you guys have heard me answer this. It's such an age-old question that I keep getting, and I'm hoping at some point that we are allowed to evolve beyond this. I think the cast has done an amazing job of opening up and sharing their lives, and I never got the memo.
This wasn't some laid-back conversation about old times. It wasn't gossip or just reminiscing. This was deeper. Jim was finally ready to let it all out, something he'd kept bottled up for years. A truth he hadn't shared with anyone publicly. "Man, Chrissy, you already know how it is out here," Jim began, his voice low but packed with emotion. Everybody walking around like they built this empire from scratch, like they were the first ones to ever come up with an idea. But they don't know the real story behind love and hip-hop. That show? That came from me. That was my vision. My grind. Chrissy didn't flinch. She stayed locked in, her brows pulling together in curiosity. "You serious right now?" she asked. "You're saying the whole love and hip-hop franchise, what, that was your idea?" Jim nodded slowly and took a sip from his cup. Dead serious. Back in 2008, I was already moving through these circles, connecting with artists, producers, everyone who mattered. I had the music, the name, and the energy. But more than that, I had a vision. I saw all the behind-the-scenes chaos, the drama, the love stories, the beefs, the egos. I remember thinking, why the hell ain't nobody put this on TV yet? He leaned forward, voice rising a bit as he got more into it. Not just the music, but everything that came with it. The lifestyle, the real relationships, the heartbreaks, the backstabbing. I wanted a show that gave people a front row seat, the real lives of artists, not the polished fake stuff, but the truth. I called it something else back then, maybe Hustle and Heart or something like that. But the concept, that was mine.
Very important that, the casting phase, finding people who had the kinds of stories that I knew existed in the world, but more importantly, were willing to share that. Because this kind of thing happens to us all, but we don't have to live it and experience it in front of millions of people. You take the real elements, you set it within this production construct, and then you supersize.
Chrissy crossed her arms, clearly intrigued but also skeptical. Okay, but how did Mona Scott come into the picture? Last I checked, she's the one credited for creating the whole thing. Jim let out a sarcastic laugh and shook his head. Mona, she played me straight up. I met her through a mutual industry contact. Someone who knew I was trying to get this show picked up. I didn't have a whole pitch deck or Hollywood connections, But I had the idea and I had heart. I was just a Harlem dude with a dream. Mona came in like she was gonna help me take it to the next level. And she had the resume, worked with major artists, knew the TV game. I trusted her. He paused, eyes narrowing as he thought back. We had meeting after meeting, late nights at her office. I broke it all down for her. Every detail. I told her how I wanted it to feel raw, unscripted, like the viewers were in the room with these people. I gave her names, artists, producers, even some of the women in the game who'd bring real heat to the screen. She was nodding, taking notes, acting like we were building it together. Chrissy blinked, trying to process. Wait, so you handed her the whole idea? I did more than that, Jim said, slapping the table. The sudden noise broke the quiet and sent the recorder blinking harder. I gave her the whole damn blueprint. And what did she do? She flipped it, ran off with it. Next thing I know, I'm hearing whispers about some new reality show called Love and Hip Hop. At first, I brushed it off, thought, okay, maybe it's a coincidence. But then I saw the promos. And Chrissy, it was my vision, word for word, scene for scene. Same messy relationships, same studio drama, even some of the same people I had suggested. Chrissy let out a breath, clearly bothered. That's cold. But how do you know she didn't just come up with it on her own? Like maybe she had a similar idea at the same time? Jim's face turned serious. Nah, Chrissy. This wasn't no great minds think alike situation. I got receipts. I kept all the emails, the texts, even notes from our meetings. She was still hitting me up asking for more info, pretending she was working on a pitch for us. Then, out of nowhere, silence. No calls, no updates. And the next thing I hear, the show's been picked up, and she's the executive producer. My name? Nowhere to be found. He leaned back, rubbing his face. I ain't gonna lie. It hurt. I felt like somebody took a piece of me and ran off with it. I was trying to build something that represented us, our world, our culture. She turned it into a TV circus and made millions off my concept. Chrissy stayed quiet for a while, absorbing it all. So why didn't you go after her? If you got proof, why not take her to court? Jim sighed, shoulders sinking slightly. I thought about it. I talked to a couple lawyers, but you know how this industry works. It's all about who you know, who you got behind you. Mona's got the lawyers, the connections, the money. Me? I was just a rapper trying to break into television? Plus, I didn't want to be that dude airing out dirty laundry in public. I got pride. I thought, let it go. Keep grinding. Do your own thing. But yeah, it eats at you. Chrissy's voice softened. Of course it does. Seeing that show blow up, knowing it was your idea and you got nothing from it? That would kill me too. Jim nodded. It's like every time the show airs, it's another reminder. I'm happy some people got a platform through it. Don't get me wrong. But I should have been part of that. It should have had my fingerprints on it. And instead, I'm on the sidelines watching. Chrissy tilted her head, studying him. So what now? You telling me all this for a reason, right? You planning to go public? Jim smirked, a glimmer of something bold in his eyes. Maybe. I haven't made up my mind yet. Part of me wants to put it all out there, the emails, the texts, everything. Let the world see what really happened. But another part of me? I just want to move on. Build something new. I got more ideas, Chrissy. Bigger than love and hip-hop. I'm talking movies, new series, stuff that's never been done before. Chrissy smiled, a familiar look of pride on her face. That's the Jim, I know. Always thinking ahead, always scheming something new. But if you do decide to go after Mona, you know I got your back. We can shake the room if we need to. Jim laughed, and raised his glass. To shaking the room and never letting anybody steal our shine again. They clinked glasses, the sound sharp and clear in the smoky air. The recorder kept blinking, capturing the fire in Jim's voice, and the truth he was finally ready to share. He wasn't broken. He wasn't bitter. But he was determined. As the night went on, they kept talking about the industry, about betrayal, about staying true to your vision. Jim's voice got stronger with every word. You could feel it. He was reclaiming something that had been taken from him. That sting of betrayal still sat with him, but now it was fuel. It was motivation. In that dim room, surrounded by haze and history, with his day one partner beside him, Jim Jones was already writing his next chapter. Whether he chose to call Mona out or just let his future work speak louder than the past, one thing was certain: he wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. And this time, nobody was going to take what was his.